Hello, everyone. This is the Tuesday edition of Diamond Network's show, Voices of the Alternative World. And tonight we don't have a guest scheduled, but I have some ideas, and it should be interesting. It'll be a bit of a seeing where the spirit takes us type of show, which we've done before, and it's worked out quite well most of the time. So I have an idea based on something that I was told earlier in the week about a group that's in my area that I didn't even know hardly anything about. But I will save that till after I'm going to, there's noise on the line there. I'm going to, I will do we are all one. We will do this first, the power of one, like we always do to open the show. And I want to direct this towards all these communities and groups that may have something going on behind the scenes that isn't really that good. Like agendas going by the leader that are controlling agendas. And we want to shed light on these kind of agendas. We certainly are in favor of all the good groups, all the positive communities that are forming for a new way of life to transform our way of life here on the planet with sincerity, without anyone's controlling program running things. But there are groups out there. Certainly we know of them, especially since the late 60s and even before that, which are run by people that don't have the highest good of all in their hearts. They're more or less trying to, they may have started out with good intentions, but they have their own unresolved issues, ego issues, and needing to control people and all of that. That has taken over. And so I want to shed light on these type of groups and the people that are part of them, and that they will realize what they are involved in, and because we really do need to follow our own light. We can have guidance from outside, and we can be inspired by books that we read and teachers, and some teachers are very, very valid, and they encourage people to find their own light within. But in any case, I'm going to do the law of one now, and shed light on all spiritual seekers and all of those that are sincerely looking to find an alternative way of life. We are all one. When one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all, I ask that only that which is the highest good, which serves the highest good of all concerned, happen here and now. And throughout all time and space, I give thanks that this be done, and so it is. Now, this past week, I was told about a group not too far from where I live, and I'm amazed that I hadn't heard much about it before. And this just triggered this thought process in me, although I've had an interest in these things for a while, because I was actually raised in a group which some people might call a cult, but it wasn't any kind of controlling agenda there. And also I was involved in the One World Family Commune, which may even seem more cultish to many people. So I was just looking at these groups and thinking, well, were they really cults? Or, some people will call a cult anything that anything that's not the big established religion, or something that's just like Christianity or Judaism or that sort of thing. But even these groups, as we well know, have certainly had their dark side, as we very well know. So this particular group, and I just found out about it. It's been around since 1970, and it's got international, centers all over, and people. It's quite large, and it's called the Fellowship of Friends. And maybe some people listening to this recording later will know about this. And it's located in a very remote area, and there's no main roads going by there. And I've been in the area. I have a friend that lives there, but we never really discussed it that much. And there's a vineyard there which they run, and it's quite a large what they call a compound. And they do all kinds of things. They're into art and culture and different things like that. But the leader does some pretty questionable things, according to. Now, all of this I found out on the internet, and of course we know we got to be discerning when it comes to what we read on the internet. That it's like I was just researching it, and the main purpose for me in talking about it is not so much to talk about this one group, but just to bring up the overall issues, since we've been talking about intentional communities in September and all the good side of them for the most part. And this is just something that we're all familiar with. We're familiar with groups such as Scientology, which has had a lot of people that have left and talked about their controlling, ways they control people. And also, of course, we all know about the Jim Jones, and we know about Charlie Manson, and, all these kind of people. And so this group, apparently it's got a lot of followers, and they claim to be followers of Ouspensky's Fourth Way. But apparently the leader has not really followed he didn't have a real true teaching from that tradition. He learned about it through his own studying and reading, and through some other not so somebody that wasn't really doing it right. So a lot of dark stuff has been said about what he has done, how he's used his influence, sexually with followers and these things of that nature, which I don't need to go into detail about. But I've been reading more about it on the internet. So I think that in looking at my own experiences, the faithists Eloists were very much not into control. I mean, we're very much into the WASPy teachings and all that. But the leader of the faithists, the group that I was raised in, was very low key. I mean, he was respected very much, but he wasn't always out there telling people what to do or anything. He wasn't even always out there talking and teaching. He was there in the building, and people could go and talk to him and seek counsel from him when they wanted to. But he didn't exhibit any kind of control agenda. So as far as even though it's a group that not too many people know about, it's still, I didn't see it as could be defined as a cult in that particular sense. And the One World Family Commune, the leader, Alan Michael, was a bit more out there. He was definitely out there, and he definitely put his teachings out there, and a lot of it people couldn't really get with, but the general, just we've talked about with Chris and Lynn of Sharing Gardens, like the underlying aspects of the group, the way we lived and the way we served each other, and all of that stuff, I believe was sound and something many of us have carried on with. Although I was never a complete disciple of his, as you might say. Everything that he said I believed in or believed. I always kind of just went to my own inner guidance. Even though I was a part of that group for many years, I don't think I ever believed in any one person's teachings completely. I just for the most part it was good, but he didn't try to keep people from leaving. People came and left on their own, and he didn't try to force people to do anything. It was just based on our own inspiration of our guidance of what we wanted to be a part of. There's definitely a structure to the group, and but it seemed like it was a good structure. It was helpful to keep people doing various tasks and service with the restaurant and bakery and music and taking care of the children and all those things. And a lot of the children are grown up now, and they're all grown up now, but they're, they as far as I can tell, they were not damaged. I haven't talked to all of them, but they seem to be in a pretty healthy state for the most part. So this is kind of what I just felt led to talk about this evening. And is anybody else on the line here that wants to have some feedback about this? Am I alone? Star 6. Anybody?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here, and
Elizabeth,
yeah.
You're there. Okay, good. I wasn't sure.
I was just going to add, nowadays we're increasing our feeler heart. So the subject you're talking on, like in anything, a thought you have, even a thought you have, or if you want to go, if you're going somewhere, or if you want to join something, whatever, go into your heart and just say that sentence or whatever you're going to do, or that thought, and then attune to your emotion. How do you feel when you think of that? How do you feel when you're thinking that you want to join this group? How do you feel? Attune to your emotion. And if it's good, go for it. If it doesn't feel good, don't go for it. And I would propose to you, because we're in a world of experiences, and we grow through experience, good or bad or in between. It's not, any of it's not bad. Nothing's bad. It's all just experience. So, what was I going to say about that?
That we shouldn't think it was bad that we had an experience.
Oh, so like for instance, that you're going to join a group, right? And you're thinking about it, and you just have a good feeling about it. Now, let alone it's a cult group or something, right? Just say that, for example. But you don't know it. You have a good feeling about it. But heart's not fooling you. Maybe you're supposed to join that group for a time to experience something, to get your feathers ruffled, so you can grow. See what I'm saying? So, because we've all planned our life and all the details and all the experiences that we wanted to have to grow more before we even came in our mother's womb. But and I love what you're saying. So I just wanted to add that.
I agree. I really do. And also the fact that we could have had contracts or karma with a group of people to come together for a time to work things out and to learn, and because of I'm totally I'm in accord with what you're saying. And even now, we're more attuned than we maybe were in the past. We're in our hearts, we're more able to feel that, that what's right and what's not right, at least in our present time. I wrote down here.
I just wanted to say, too, one of your comments you made, you never agreed with anything. You didn't agree with everything, like when you lived in that group, that person, you didn't agree with everything. And I like that. I like that perspective in the heart. And that's the way we should all. Just because you don't agree, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have been there. You know what I mean? We all have to have our own sovereign heart, and it's okay if we don't agree with some things, and you live with them. It's okay, right? Yeah, I like that.
Right.
Thank you for
that. Thank you. Yeah, because even though I was there, and there were people that were much more gung ho than I was about him, and they still are around, and one of them was on this show before, Joseph. He's totally into Alan Michael. I liked his basic outlay of communal life, and a lot of what he talked about I really liked, but I wasn't going to bow at his feet or kiss his toes or anything. Not that people did that, but I just I saw that there were things lacking. He wasn't completely balanced. Who is? I sometimes I didn't feel at ease around him. There was something about him I didn't feel comfortable about. But I still felt the complete experience there in the commune was good for me, and it was beneficial for the time I was there. So I just was saying it was beneficial experience. I'm glad I had it. I learned a lot, and I also had some difficult experiences emotionally, but we all learn from everything that we go through. So so if I didn't feel his heart energy enough, that was one of the things that I felt uncomfortable about. I didn't feel his heart energy enough, and he was very much into his teachings, and what he. But I didn't feel much warmth from him, But there are people that absolutely loved him, So anybody else out there, or any more comments or feedback? Is Dale here yet? Dale, are you here? He's not here yet. Well, I have had an interest in this topic, I guess, for quite a while because of my own involvements. And, we're certainly looking for affiliation. Hello. We're certainly looking for good affiliations, and I think nowadays, especially where we're at, some of us have been on this earth longer than others, but it doesn't mean we're wiser because we're older, but, just our own accumulated evolution and experience and soul growth and all of that. We're just more aware, more intuitive at these times of what's good and what may not be so good. Is anybody else here? So I'm just interested in how a group like this could be in the area and have such. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I just opened the room. Opened the room for you. So the audience can come in if they like to star 6 at any time. I'm here, Sonny. I go back and forth. But continue.
Yeah.
You're doing good.
Yeah. Good.
And I don't. If you hear a ding, Dale might be coming in too. I don't know.
Right. Okay. Well, if anybody else is here and wants to say anything, star 6. I'll just keep rambling on. I just find it interesting how I was Well, actually, what I want to say also is that I talked to a man in Florida who was the first person I met when I came to San Francisco in '68. Well, one of the very first people, and he was part of the One World family, and he was at the Here and Now restaurant on Haight Street, and it was one of the first places I went, and I met him, and he was one of these people that, you know, he's always looking for the new women, you know, hippie chicks that come along, you know, but he told me all about the commune and everything, and so he was the person that I talked to in Florida, and, you know, he and I we never were really involved, but we were friends, you know, we did some traveling together in the 80s, and you know, he just visited other people and other groups, and that was interesting. And anyway, he's interested in being on the show, and it's a little too soon to be on this one, but he studied with, he had a personal connection with Buckminster Fuller, and I thought that would be especially an interesting topic. He's in his 70s, he's a little older than I am, he's a little bit, rambles a little bit, but he's very much into this geodesic. He's been studying this practically all his life since then. You know, the geodesics, the sacred geometry, the building of the you know, the structures, and you know, he's taught school kids how to do this. You know, he's made models, lots of models. I first was part of the San Francisco group. On the ceiling, he had these light covers, you know, that covers the lights, the lamps. You know, they were all geodesic models made out of, you know, paper, heavy paper with designs on them, you know, designs and slogans and things, you know, psychedelic, like, you know, but this, you know, and he's built domes for people, built dome greenhouses, and, you know, so he's going to be on. He doesn't use a computer much himself, so I have to go through his son, but he's, you know, he wants to do the show, and so I think this is going to be a good thing. It should be really interesting, because I know Dale has lots of, you know, he really respects Bucky Fuller, and so do I, and he's had a real important contribution, you know, and his name is Belden, and he's spoken of this Dymaxium car he used to talk about as something that Bucky Fuller built, but they didn't keep it going, or it was, you know, resisted, of course, by the regular, you know, gas car people. But, you know, I can't really give you details on that, because he's the one that knows about it. But I remember he did talk about that, and he talked about even a house that was built on those principles. So that should be interesting, and then maybe he'd go on next week. I just have to get it set up with him, you know, to give him all the information that he needs. You know, we'll be talking again on the phone about it.
That sounds good. Yeah, I got your email. That sounds good. Yeah, you met him, and great.
Yeah, I called him Sunday, and we talked for an hour. But I've been thinking about him for a while. You know, I've been thinking he'd be a good one because of his connection with Bucky Fuller, particularly. He's still very active physically. He's building, you know, I mean, you know, renovating houses there in Florida with his son. And he still wants to do the thing, you know. He still wants to promote the vision of the, more or less.
Oh,
you know,
very nice.
Still interested in that, you know. He's been a crusader all his life. You know, he's really been he's out there with the books, with the everlasting gospel books that Alan channeled, you know, selling them and giving them away. And, you know, he's a, you know, he'd walk up to people in restaurants and, you know, people and just talk about it, you know. He's a very out there person. I guess he's
right.
mellowed a bit with age, but he's because I was more introverted, so he's a very extroverted person, but we seem to get along. We had a friendship. So that's something that's upcoming.
In the works.
Yeah.
And your friend, the music guy, you should call him again. It's been a while.
Yeah, I emailed him today, and he's we've been emailing each other pretty regularly.
Oh.
He doesn't want to be on again. He's just got a very busy schedule.
Absolutely.
He's got he's selling a lot of his CDs, and he's just got a lot going on.
When we get boots on the ground, I would love to have him come and play some galactic music that he plays. That'd be good.
Oh yeah. Well, you're talking about like a show.
I'll just say boots on the ground for now, right now. Yeah. Okay. What I mean is, instead on the phone, we're face to face. All of us.
Right.
Yeah.
There would be visuals involved. I mean, it wouldn't be.
We would be personally with each other.
Okay. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I mean, I limited myself now, but I'm not going to say I won't be limited in the future, things.
Yeah, save it up for the future, the near future, Sonny.
Yeah. Well, I would be so happy to have something like that happen. It's like a gathering of the tribes.
Right. That would be beautiful.
He's such a magical person, and he was on Maui, and he's just a magical person. He's got a lot.
Well, let me call Dale real quick. You keep going, okay. And I'll just see if he'll be here. And I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah. So Merle Fankhauser. Yeah, he was on before. He was on in December, and he's a wonderful musician and really a wonderful person. So he will be on again. He just has to find the right time for it. And so we'll keep everybody informed. And, I do have a lot of interesting people I've known over the years, and I just can keep on calling on these resources. I mean, there are others that I haven't talked to about this. But anyway, we'll see how it unfolds. It's a very interesting growth time we're in. The unfoldment of so much is taking place on our planet, within our diamond network. Just lots of new seeds being planted that are going to sprout and bear fruit as spring approaches. Spring is coming, even though we in California want more rain, and we're going to get it. I believe we're going to get it this month. But lots to look forward to, and so many of us have gone through challenges. Like I've gone through this 2 hospitalizations for surgeries. Boy, it's like I was really on a roll here with these calls and feeling excited about them and everything, and then I got whacked down. But I didn't stay whacked down. Yeah, like even in the nursing home, I was on these calls, and I participated in some of them. Is Dale here yet?
Oh no, he got stuck in traffic, so he won't be able to be here tonight. So whenever you're ready to wrap it up, you can wrap it up. Whenever you're ready, just take your time.
Oh, okay.
I was going to see if anybody out there listening has come about any news or anything that they learned today they want to share. I'm itching. I got an appetite for that. I haven't done any research lately. Anybody have anything you can share with me and Sunny? Right, Sunny?
Yeah.
Of any kind of subject. Come on in, just star 6.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can think of anything else I've heard of.
Yeah, you did good, Sunny. It's been an hour. Wow, you did great. That was a great dissertation that you gave.
Well, in my it's been a half hour according to my clock here, but
okay, a half an hour, 32 minutes. Never mind.
Yeah, 32 minutes. But that's all right. Maybe it seems like an hour.
I just want to let everybody know. Stay tuned for March 14th show coming up for Monday. That's going to be very astounding for the world, you guys, for planet Earth. I don't know the details, but I just have this knowing in my heart, which I get a lot. But, I know it's been building up with Chris, and his mother is going to be the guest, and it's like what I titled The Straw That Breaks the Cabal's Chaos. That's what I titled it. Anyway,
well,
so
that's
stay tuned for that.
Real interesting, yes. Chris's mother.
And we need to get as many people as we can live on that show, because the Galactics gave us a challenge from Agartha. They gave us a challenge to be of one mind, and we're going to do something during that, at that moment. And they even said the specific time, 9 p.m. Central. So we're going to practice what we've been learning, you guys, and be of one mind and show the Agarthans that we're ready for it, huh? And so gather all your friends to be sure to come on that Monday, right?
Monday, March 14th. And,
right. You're always on the shows. You'll be there anyway. Yeah.
Well, sometimes I'm late because of my, going to town.
And if you weren't on yesterday's show, we got some build-up information from Chris on there. If you weren't on yesterday. No, if anybody, I'm just telling everybody that's listening.
Yeah.
That was Monday, February 29th, 2016. But that'll be up on YouTube if it's not already up there on YouTube. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday night is Candy's show, and she's going to have Chris on as a guest. That's tomorrow. And Thursday, the fantastic astrology that Cynthia says is really, 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 really yummy. So I can't miss any shows.
Yes, I try not to miss any shows. Of course, you're always there, except I don't always hear you on the Thursdays, but I know you're always there. Well, this is quite a week. And I did hear what Chris had to say, and sometimes he just, he says so much, I don't catch it all, but.
Let me read you what Franco Di Nicolo wrote me, so you guys get a special treat tonight on a couple emails. He's been laying low lately. He hasn't been doing any radio shows, and he's a unified soul. And I found that writing, what the unified soul means. I don't remember where I found that. If I could find it, I would read it because it was really fantastic. But I'll read his two small little emails for you guys.
All right.
Because he goes into collective consciousness. I mean, he goes to other planets and collective consciousness, which is all of us as one mind, and can tell where we're at and stuff like that. See? Okay? So that's, as I read this, there's two little blurbs here. Let me see. I see. Hello, Elizabeth. I trust you are doing well. It has been a while since we last connected. For me to reply how I am would be a very loaded answer, which I would address at another time. In addition, what's new? Well, there are many things that are new, and then there are many things that are still the same, just shifting in form. So far, this year has been a very interesting year on my end. However, it has taken direction which I've seen an outcome that can be favorable at some point. Okay, how are you doing? What's new on your end? I sense you're doing amazing things as usual. Keep up the awesome work that you're doing, creating a shift and creating a shift on the planet and amongst people. Let me just see. Okay. A little more. Here's another one. Thank you for your play. It has been great connecting with you, and I look forward to future connections. Thank you for the update on what's happening in your life. It looks like you're going through many changes on many levels. Let me write. Okay. It certainly has been an interesting couple of years, and it looks quite interesting so far this year. It's only starting, and it should get even more interesting as we move along the year. Keep up the great work that you're doing in spreading the message and stimulating change. And that's it. So I know even little little words out of Franco. I didn't ask him; he offered it. And so even those little words read between the lines.
Yeah, well, great. What's his name again?
Franco Di Nicolo. He's on Facebook.
Okay, yeah, Franco Di Nicolo. All right. Yeah. Well.
D. It's a D, capital D-E, and then a space, Nicola.
D. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
And where did I read that? Let me just think where I read about a unified soul, Franco. I wish I could read that to you. That would be pretty good, you guys, because we would be, eventually we'll get to be a unified soul, right, as we learn lessons and experiences. You know what I mean?
We're one but yet unique individuals at the same time.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Let me see if I can find it. Keep talking.
Yeah, it become more unified as we our whole beings become more balanced, and as we work through whatever we need to work through.
Yeah, it means more than that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of following the stream of consciousness.
Oh, your heart. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, unified as our own selves, and then as a group of unified, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. We become more unified within ourselves, and we become more unified with those we're in alignment with. Yeah. Attract our soul families, and over the years I've been aware of soul families of different sorts that I've been drawn to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like souls that are connected, with each other, and of course the One World Family group was one of them. Even the Eloist group, the Faithists, people that are just connected because they're alignments and all. And then the people in Maui, people in Maui, which Merle was a part of. I really got it strongly then that, he and these other people.
I think I found it, you guys.
Great.
Okay. It's just describing Franco Di Nicola, unified soul. So just as I read this, you guys, planet Earth was a person before. That's just hard to have my head. Planets were a being before. I don't know if about human being, but we're a being too with all the other beings. A planet was a being before, you guys. And then just, a master, and even got bigger. That's just hard for my head to go around, but that's okay. So, a unified soul. Franco sees the world and humanity in a very different way. He sees clearly that humanity is more than the human computer and the sum of the experiences here on this planet. What he shares is beyond this human computer. Franco has great love for humanity and their experience on this planet. He realizes their challenges and also their greatness in the unfoldment taking place. Franco is a unified soul that completed the evolutionary process through human consciousness some 200 years ago and has traveled dimensionally, allowing him to gain a broader spectrum until humanity was at a point of such readiness to experience an advanced consciousness shift. Franco re-entered the planet in a human physicality in the late 50s, giving himself time to assimilate with the human condition through the experiential realm for the sole purpose of assisting humanity through this consciousness shift. Part of his assimilation process involved having a simulated human experience to be able to relate with the present human condition and for humanity to be able to relate with him. Even though Franco had access to many of his previous lives, tuning into them would not have provided him with the same human connection as in having his present human experience with all its intricacies. He entered this world in an aware state with the recollection of the consciousness before incarnation, plus the recollection of thousands of years of previous lifetimes. He entered in his mom's womb and came into this earth with that. Wow, you guys. Recollection of 1,000 lives. Part of the simulated human experience involved losing most of his pre-incarnation memory at about age 5. Regardless, some higher awareness remained with him, which made him continue to see life differently, therefore not quite fitting into the so-called norm. He also had some very profound experiences beyond what is considered as typical human experiences, which most times were totally misunderstood by others. He therefore had to keep them to himself. Can you imagine? I bet you there's lots of people in this world that have not been able to come out of the closet, but we're waking up in more supernaturality. People will be getting more on Diamonds Network. Okay, for most of his childhood, he viewed what we call the world as a place with much limitation and filled with an assortment of archaic belief systems which were repeated and maintained as a way of life. As a child, he used to greatly observe people, and he found their actions quite robotic and unconscious. As he grew up, he continued to feel out of place with the structures, limitations, and what was considered to be the way of life. However, with some adaptation on his part, he was able to some degree experience life as the majority of people did, while maintaining some access to an expanded insight. This early period of life allowed him to connect to the human experience as it was intended. However, as time went on, there was an increasing internal knowing that it was time to step into his purpose for being here, rather than to continue the life he had adopted and was living. In 2001, the veils that prevented him from having access to his pre-incarnation memory and consciousness started to lift off, bit by bit over several year periods, simulating an awakening process which is getting closer to completion now. That's what Franco. As part of reintegration to his purpose here, he made many important changes in his life. These changes including getting out of the business world and modifying his personal commitment. This enabled him to have more time to complete his internal work, as well as devoting much of this time to assist humanity through its evolutionary process. The assistance provided to humanity involves many levels and accesses different realms. Franco provides a very open platform for consciousness expansion, which is very much outside the presently existing collective consciousness and perception. What he offers is beyond the ego program, while recognizing how it has completely taken over the human experience. Franco does not get involved with external so-called success, the game within it. His work is to assist people to shift to their ultimate soul purpose while reestablishing oneness consciousness in this world that encompasses all of humanity, nature, the planet, and the universe as part of it. Franco realizes time has come for him to be more active in the public domain. Well, this was written a while back. Okay, Franco presents the opportunity to sidestep all the different layers. Okay, because we've had him on Diamonds Network 3 or 4 times. I am so humbled. And just listening to his voice will change you. Listening to everybody's voice will change you guys. Franco presents the opportunity to sidestep all the different layers that can slow down the process humanity is going through in a simple form. A personal shift in consciousness will create a different personal life experience. A collective consciousness shift will create a different human experience in a different world reality. Human consciousness as a whole has been stuck in a very limited archaic program which was self-sustaining for a very long time. This stuck state was leading humanity to its own demise. As a fail-safe to prevent this of occurring once again, a backup plan was put in place. This consciousness shift presently taking place is the backup plan unfolding. The human experience is pure potentiality. That which is our present human experience is not the only experience there is. Humanity is being given the opportunity to experience a much more expansive and unified human experience. For the time being, Franco also provides individual... No, he doesn't anymore. Okay, his work is about getting to the source. It is important to understand that he is only the facilitator. Results and depths achieved will depend on each individual's openness, intention, and readiness. Regardless, no one is ever the same after the process. This work opens people up to whole new life experience. They have conferences in Canada, the Kingdom Center. As Franco's work will shift more and more to addressing the greater public and on a grander scale, the personalized... Okay, Franco is a very loving being, devoted to assisting humanity to create a new reality that far exceeds the present limited experience, which encompasses oneness and love. If you feel ready and drawn, then it is time to move forward. So you guys go listen to the Franco shows on the Diamonds Network. They're all on the old Diamonds YouTube, and just click the diamond on the right-hand side under the new YouTube channel, and you'll get to the old YouTube channel. Very good. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, very beautiful. I'll look into him more. He sounds like a wonderful soul.
Yes, and I'm so humbled to have been able to stumble on him and asked him and came to the show 3 or 4 or 5 times. Me and Lily had very deep conversations with him, and when you guys listen, you'll get changed. You can't help to. Yeah.
Has he been on during the time I've been involved? I mean, during it was before that.
Yeah, it was before that, last year sometime. Yeah.
Well, I'll try. Well, of course, anyway, I'll look into it. I'll look into him some more. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, really a lot of wonderful beings coming forward these days.
I've talked to Franco on some of the shows at Diamonds Network, so little Elizabeth said, okay, now, this is when I started talking to the Galactics, seeing if they'll come in, which that dream has come true, through Chris and others too, I'm sure it's not ending in what we're at now. It's going to continue to build and be even different and more. I have no idea, but anyway. But so I asked one time, okay, now Franco is very unique. I have never met anybody in the world like him, even as a teacher. I said, no, and he said there's more like him, but they just have a different little mission, And so I said, okay, Franco said, so I'm calling all you guys here to the Diamonds. Come and see me. Come and see all of us.
No. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Him. Yeah. So is there anybody in the audience that wants to say anything? Star 6. And then, Sonny, I'll let you finish it up, whatever you want to do, and then whenever, you don't have to stay on. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you so much, Elizabeth. That was great what you shared, and it's an interesting the way the show unfolded tonight, and I just invite everyone to stay tuned, and next week we may have Belden on. I will keep everybody informed about that. And so, we weren't on last week, but now we're back in full force. It seems like very inspiring Monday show, and I expect that tomorrow's with Candy will be the same. With Chris will be there doing his wonderful channeling, and all the information that comes through him is so amazing. So anyway, I will say good night to everyone and anyone who's listening to this show in any capacity, and just keep shining. Thank you so much for being here. Blessings.
Are you looking for healing or a change in your life to help you enjoy it more fully? You might benefit from a galactic energy reading and clearing from Chris Jacobs. Chris will work with you on a soul level to clear unseen negative influences, implants, programs, contracts, and energetic blocks. Chris Jacobs is a gifted energy healer. Contact him today at ChristopherStephenJacobs@gmail.com.